Welcome to Hammer Dahn. Number one gambling podcast coming out of the PMI offices. And we are on a roll. I am your host, Tone Diggs. I will be steering this beautiful ship all day, all season, all long. I am joined by the Mr. Nuke Man himself, Bubba Gumpino.
Good day, Tony.
Here we go.
I am joined by Michael Lombardi, who you can listen to every day on VSiN with the Lombardi line, the GM Shuffle Pod, writes for The Athletic, and I have been enjoying the Daily Coach emails quite a bit, Michael.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm waiting for our guest writer, Pat, to come. Anytime he wants to submit something, feel free. We love it.
That's a lot. Writing takes a lot of time. I don't know how you guys do it. I get in the mood sometime where I'm like, all right, I'm going to write up my thoughts here. And I start typing, and it get to like 240 characters. And I'm like, well, I think I'll just make this a tweet, actually. And I just send out tweets.
Yeah, you're really a good tweeter. I mean, you do wonderful on that.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Poison. I thank you. It's where I kind of build up everything for everything that we're currently doing. But every once in a while.
Yeah, speaking of Twitter, I was watching last night. My wife and I were watching the David Letterman. My next guest needs no introduction. Have you watched that at all?
Chappelle, I heard, is awesome. I heard Kim Kardashian's on there. I'm excited for it. I love those types of shows.
The two you just mentioned were. Kardashian was incredible. I didn't know much about her other than my daughter-in-law's loving her, but she was really impressive, and so was Chappelle. Chappelle was really, really good.
Yeah, normally those comedians that make it to a high level have really, really, really good brains. Mm-hmm. Normally. You listen to Jerry Seinfeld, that comedians in cars getting coffee, you listen to him talk to anybody, it's like those conversations are always very interesting to listen to. I would assume Letterman, high-up comedian, Chappelle, the guy, that conversation, I can't wait for it. I was so excited to hear about it this morning, actually, whenever I got in. They're like, oh, Letterman's got my next guest is. I can't wait for it. What was that on Twitter, though? You saw it on Twitter? You were going to really?
No, I just was, but they got into the whole, Kardashian influence on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh.
And basically that, like a lot of people, she doesn't need a show to make her money.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't need a network. She doesn't need a show. She's got 160 million followers on Instagram and 100, whatever.
Paisan, the creators are the network. That is just what it is. The creators are the network.
That's what we're headed to. That's where the world is. There you go. That's a Daily Coach. I'm going to write that for the Daily Coach. The creators are the network.
Do you want me to write that maybe? It feels like
that would be awesome. I mean, your story about how you've done this is it's very Daily Coach-ish. It's because you're able to go from, a player in the NFL, you've built a huge market, social media, the way you've attacked it, the way you've strategized it, and you've created it without having to be on ESPN, even though you are, like ESPN, for example, this guy Novel, if you ever read Novel, he's incredible. He's really, really incredibly smart. He has a 10-minute podcast every day. Novel, his name is, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I would be a disaster with it anyway. So, he talks about how you have to be the only way you could ever create wealth in this country is to be your own wealth creator. When you work for somebody, you can't create wealth. That you are dependent upon them liking you to create wealth. And ESPN, like say Adam Schefter, for example, he's got 8 million followers on Twitter. He's his own real news service.
Oh yes, he is.
Right? Like if he didn't have ESPN, he would probably have 20 million followers.
Yeah, because he might be able to swear and enjoy the internet a little bit more. But I don't want to get too far off topic here because we are here to make money and everything like that. But this is a way to make money. I think everybody's going to be their own boss at some point or have the ability to be their own boss with social media. It's a modern day gold rush. If you can build up landscape or real estate on the internet, you're in a good spot. And we got a good team.
There you go. There's another Daily Coach. Okay, we go back to betting. So let me ask you guys this question. Why is everyone betting Tennessee this week before the game? Why is Pittsburgh getting no respect in the betting market?
I hammered Pittsburgh.
85% of the money is on the Tennessee Titans.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Pat. To me, two games that my numbers back up, that I'm supported by everything, by football knowledge, the numbers, is Green Bay and Pittsburgh.
Oh,
and I can't figure out why it's moving. I see Gump shaking his head. I mean, like, why is it so obvious?
Steelers are great on the road against winning teams against the spread as well. 33-16-2 their last 51.
Michael, and the thing about the Steelers is, like, I've obviously been a lifelong fan. Like, the running game does not worry me for them. Like, their yards per carry has gone up because he went for 200, and one of his carries last week was 95 yards or whatever. But like that. The rushing of Derrick Henry does not worry me. Tannehill worries me more than Derrick Henry does.
Too. Yeah. Taylor Lewan's out. New tackle. That defensive line, for me, whenever I pick a game, I try to make it as easy as possible. Okay, who's good on that team? Feels like Ryan Tannehill is unbelievable. By the way, Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry in the last 16 games have accomplished something I guess no other duo has done. I saw this by Greeny and Hembo this morning on Get Up. I guess he has over 2,000 yards rushing in the last 16 games, and he has, I think, 30. I forget what the number is. Some record, those two. But in my head, that team goes through Derrick Henry. And whenever I immediately thought, like, okay, that team goes through Derrick Henry, and they lost Taylor Lewan, who's all-pro tackle. And then I immediately think on the other side, will they be able to stop that? Oh, yeah, the defense will be able to stop that. And will the Tennessee defense be able to stop Ben Roethlisberger? Probably. But who will stop who more? I think the Steelers will stop that more. And I just naturally was like, oh, yeah, that's a lock for the Steelers. Hearing this, it's very interesting because I did not think that 80-some% of the money would be on the Titans at this point. That's wild.
I think the Titans are a lot like Seattle, really good on offense. And not as bad as Seattle on defense, but just as bad. I mean, remember that Jacksonville game, Jacksonville scored, 30 points on them?
Yeah.
I mean, they bit Minnesota, went up and down the field on them.
Last week.
I mean, I think Pittsburgh's going to move the ball on them. I'm with you. I think what side of the ball, to me, Pittsburgh's the better team. I had it as a 5.5 point. Pittsburgh should have been a 5.5 point favorite. They opened up at a 3.5, 3.
No, so
they were -2 to open, weren't they?
What I'm looking at is that the Steelers were -1.5 to open, and now they're +1.5. I could be wrong.
The Steelers are getting points right now?
Yeah, plus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all over that. If you're going to give me points in the Steelers, take me to the electric chair. I'm ready to go.
Well, this is what happens with.
I agree. What the fuck?
When teams play the Browns, right? When the Browns win, everyone thinks they're great, but instead of giving the Steelers credit for kicking the shit out of the Browns, everyone just says, "Oh, the Browns stink again."
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers beat. I don't want to play the Dunkel rating where one team beats this team. I mean, but remember the Denver game? Denver covered, but that wasn't really a close game, 26-21, right? That wasn't close. To me, and we know that Tennessee. I know that Gostkowski had some problems in the opener, but that was a hard game for Tennessee.
Very, yeah.
That's so long ago, though. You agree with that? That was so long ago.
Yeah, it was long ago. I don't, but what wasn't long ago is Houston going up and down the field on them.
Yeah, legit. Very legit. That game goes to overtime, obviously, and who knows what the Houston Texans are right now because this is their second game after losing their coach.
Correct. Ben has admitted that he doesn't like playing in Tennessee for some reason, so I don't think that has anything.
Where did he say that at?
He talked about it this week in his little press conference.
He's trolling. That's trolling Ben. That's what he said.
That's what he said. I think Ben's just being Ben. There's
nobody there. They won't have many people there. You don't have to worry about it.
No, I don't think he's got to worry about that. Another game though here.
It is alarmingly breezy in Tennessee.
It is, isn't it?
It's alarmingly breezy in the stadium down there. It is because they have one open end like Pittsburgh, but it's not on the river, so it's not as bad. But it is a breezy stadium. Is Ben Roethlisberger not like the breeze down there?
He might not. Well, I mean, he plays in it. It doesn't make sense.
Does that mean he hates Pittsburgh more?
Probably.
Oh, wow.
Another game that I wanted to talk about was Seahawks at Cards +3.5. But there's potentially breaking news. Gumpy, you said that the Sunday night football game is being flexed.
This has been flexed to the Sunday nighter and Bucks and Raiders.
Which
go to 4:00.
Yeah, but I imagine they're doing that in case it gets canceled.
Because Bucks and Raiders is not a game that would be flexed. It's not like that's a bad matchup. Like they're not taking the Bucks out of primetime. No.
But they moved them to 4:00 instead of a 1:00 game where there's a bunch of them. 4:00, it's still like a highlight game, maybe because the names are still there. But you're right. This is probably a NBC saying there's a chance that because all the offensive linemen aren't in the building, the game gets canceled. I didn't even think about that until right now, boys.
Michael, is this game off the board for you because of Trent Brown? I assume he's out this weekend, and then the rest of the starting offensive line being sent home?
Yeah, I mean, look, Trent Brown, and then they know Trent Brown. They got video of him not wearing his mask, him not wearing his tracker, so they can't.
What does that mean?
Players.
What does that mean? Is that like social media video?
No, I don't know how they got that, Pat. I have no idea how they.
Well, they said they have cameras in the locker
room. They know he wasn't wearing a mask,
right?
and they don't have a way to They don't have a way to track who he's been around, so they don't know who to send home. They just sent the whole line home. And obviously, they're not practicing. The Bucs are going to keep practicing. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved this to Monday night, or at least try to.
Oh.
You know, I mean, I like Tampa in this game a lot. I thought Tampa's the better team, but I don't know how to measure this right now.
Hey, from what you've heard about the way this is with the mask force that's walking around the building with taking notes and seeing if people have their mask above their nose, below their jaw properly. They're not talking to anybody in the hallways. They're not congregating. And with the way you're getting tested every single morning, and then you can't go in the locker room at the same time. You can eat at this. How would you have handled this in your building? Listening to it, it takes away a massive part of the game, which I think is like your team coming together. Like I think a team being a team is a big deal.
I mean, how do you become a team in the locker room that, you go into that sacred place where the players kind of bond and get together? Or, the meal room to me was always the greatest spot to see where players, when I saw Jimmy Garoppolo sitting and having lunch with all the offensive linemen, I knew that Garoppolo was that they liked him. You can tell when you go in the lunchroom or the dinner room who likes who and who doesn't, and from, and how the team comes together. This is challenging. I know. My son up in New England, he has an app on his phone that he orders his food. They bring it to his office. I mean, he's basically doesn't leave his office unless he goes to practice or has a staff meeting in a socially distanced room.
Jeez.
They got him eating in their cars in Denver,
they do.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Michael,
the Denver's facility is really tiny.
Michael, another GM question. Are the Vikings trading Ngakoue? Is that they tried to get him? They got him for this season. It didn't work out. They're 1-5. They might as well. This is the only year on his contract with them. He's up next year. Is that them just getting him out and getting something back because they figured he was going to be gone next year anyways?
And you got that right.
They probably would have got a compensatory 3, right? So they traded out the right for the compensatory 3 to Baltimore, who basically gave him a compensatory 3, a low third. And Baltimore's feeling is, look, we'll get this 3 back whether we sign him or not. It was a liquidation sale. What I think you're going to start seeing in the next 2 weeks are teams that have to get below the cap for 2021. Like, let's just take, Atlanta. I've mentioned this. Expect Julio. I mean, I would expect Julio Jones to get traded. Atlanta right now is $25 million over the cap next year, and they only have 32 players.
Jesus.
That's if the cap doesn't go up. That's if the cap stays the same.
It's going to go down. Everybody's thinking.
It's going down. It's going significantly down. So that's a real issue. So the Eagles are $68 million over the cap next year. And people think, well, the Eagles are going to try to acquire a player to help their team out. No, they're not. They're trying to buy cap room this year, like they redid Fletcher Cox's contract, so that they can put money into next year's cap and try to help themselves out. So all these moves, I think the next move for Minnesota is to trade Kyle Rudolph. I think they're going to definitely do all that.
Where do you have any idea or any
1-5 last
inkling
year?
Loves Minnesota.
Loves that place.
of a cap that can handle Julio and actually benefit them this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, like the Indianapolis Colts could,
Let's go.
I mean, the Colts have a ton of cap room next year.
Get him here.
And
The fuck,
the Colts
did you
have a
just
ton. I had to go shut my door. I got the guy mowing the lawn now.
Nice shirt, Mike. Look
Hey,
at that
great shirt,
Let's
Paisan.
go.
Yeah, I put it on for. I mean, every day. It's almost 80 degrees here at the Jersey Shore today. It's incredible. Anyway, next year the Jets have $82 million of cap room. That's if the cap stays the same. The Jaguars have 81. The Colts, the Patriots could take on Julio Jones with no problem at $66 million. Same with the Washington football team. The Ravens have $43 million. Now, some of these teams only have, right now I'd say, like the Patriots have 45 players under contract for next year, and they have $66 million. So this is really what's motivating all the decisions. And when you look at the Vikings, right? So the Vikings, if you're Rick Spielman, you're sitting in your office and you're looking at your 21 cap. You've got Anthony Barr due to make $7 million. You got Danielle Hunter. You got Kyle Rudolph's going to make $7.6 million. Kiss him goodbye. You got Riley Reef due to make 6.6, and then he's got a bunch of incentives. So kiss him goodbye.
Oh,
Here's an idea. They probably shouldn't have fucking re-upped Kirk Cousins a year before they had to.
Yeah, that's when you're trapped like that, it's you just get into all sorts of problems. They magnify. It's the Curly in the boat theory. When you ever see the Three Stooges when Curly's in the boat?
Yes, I have.
All right, so Curly there's a leak in the boat, so Curly grabs one of those screwdrivers and says, I'll make this hole and let the water from the first hole out. Now he's got 2 holes. That's Kirk Cousins.
jeez.
Hey,
Kyle Rudolph goes to the Patriots too, right? Don't they need a tight end? Everybody's talking about Zach.
They do, but I don't know if the Patriots want to take on $7 million for a tight end that can't do anything that doesn't really impact the passing game.
What a shot at Kyle Rudolph that was. He didn't deserve that.
Well, I mean, he's a better blocker. I mean, Irv Smith's the pass catcher up there. I think they need him. They have nobody. I mean, he's better than Ryan Izzo. There's a shot at Ryan Izzo, but I mean, he's better than Ryan Izzo.
Michael, with Ngakoue, correct me if I'm wrong. Do the Ravens still play a 3-4, and hasn't he primarily been a 4-3 edge rusher?
They play a hybrid, so they slide the front. So they can be in a 4-man line. It's really a 4-man line. All 3-man lines are 4-man lines unless you play a zero technique at nose. It's how you slide it. It's like the Steelers. They'll drop Watt off and they'll bring the other guy. They'll drop Dupree off and bring Watt, And so the Ravens are multidimensional with their front. But what they wanted is another edge guy, especially in their sub. When you're in sub, you've got 2 ends in the game. Whether you're an odd floater, whether you're an odd, whether you're in whatever you're in.
All right, hold on, Paisan. Hold on. When you're in sub, will you explain what that means to people that might not know?
All right, so when you go to the third down, which is basically sub defense, you're going to go into some form of a 4-man line. A lot of teams like to use what we call odd floater, which is they cover the nose tackle, they have 2 ends over the tackles, and they have a bunch of guys floating around. Okay, and you're not sure who's coming, so that's why the name odd floater, because anytime the center's covered, the line is considered odd. So they have these guys floating around, and so in sub, you always are going to have 2 ends, and then they might come, they might drop, they might do different things. So for Baltimore, that's exactly how they're going to use him alongside of Matt Judon on the other side. So it'll be him and Judon. Now, they won't all come at the same time. They may bring the middle linebacker. They may drop off him. They're going to do all different combinations.
I don't like it.
They got a lot better today, huh?
I don't like it.
You think they got a lot better today? And by the way,
I think they improved their team. I think the fundamental question about Baltimore, Tone, I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, I mean, the Baltimore offense has not looked the same. They have not run the ball as effectively as they did last year. They're not the same run team as they were last year. They're not as physical as they were last year.
Do you think is that them losing Yonda? Is that them losing, what's his name, to Atlanta for the tight end? I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
No, Hayden Hurst. No, I think it's really more of they're kind of like they're getting a little cute. I think people know how to play them a little bit better. That was
going to be my question. Or is it defense coordinators having another year to study this offense and maybe slowly catching up?
And I don't think they really have. I think they need to get in a little bit of some base formations and try to just pound people a little bit.
Well, Mike,
get them under center.
Well, they just signed Des Bryant, so I assume they're probably going to throw the ball 45, 50 times a game now with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, does that mean they're out of the Antonio Brown sweepstakes? I don't think so.
Who's in the Antonio Brown sweepstakes? Because Shefty's...
Oh, I think Seattle's in it. I know Tampa would love to be in it, but Bruce has had a bad relationship, I think, with Antonio Brown going back to when he was a young player in Pittsburgh. So
the Bucs just made some space, didn't they?
Yeah, they Moffett or whatever his name is. They just moved around somebody. They cleared up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs could afford him. I mean, look, I think I think that the issue there is more about how he just didn't feel comfortable. Right now, let's see where the Bucs are in cap room.
They just went to 4.3 or something. 4.7, I think.
Yeah, the Bucks are. Yeah, they needed to build some cap room, so they were at 647 today. I mean, the Vikings after this trade, I don't know if this trade is in it, but they barely had 150,000. The 49ers cleared cap room, but every time people are clearing cap room, they're not clearing cap room to sign a player. They're clearing cap room to help them in 2021.
Wait, now is this something that if you're a bad GM, you get yourself in this position? Because we saw like the Rams. The Rams signed everybody when they had Goff on his rookie contract. They signed everybody. There was just Ndamukong Suh would do this, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks was signed. It became like an all-star team almost over there, and everybody was getting signed to these big deals. And then they had to pay Goff, and then they realized all these contracts are sitting on top of each other. And it's like, that doesn't get judged enough. Like the GM fucked up there, right? Like setting up that contract, not knowing what was coming.
Oh, their cap's a mess. I mean, their cap is a complete mess. I mean, they got Jared Goff's base salary is $25 million next year. With his prorated signing bonus, his cap number is 34.6. Aaron Donald's 27.8. You know, and this doesn't even have. I don't even see that they don't have. Jalen Ramsey's on it. His cap number's $22 million next year.
Cooper Kupp they just paid too as well.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp they just paid. His number's $14 million.
So how does the GM not get held accountable?
They're going to have a millionaires club, and then they're going to have the rookie club.
How come the GM? That is on the GM. Like, as soon as I see it, I'm like, well, it's not the players' fault that they set up this deal to be the way it is.
No, I mean, look, you know, he's got Robert Woods making $13 million. He's got the tight end Tyler Higbee making $7.1.
Who was that? Les Snead still?
You can kiss Haverston goodbye. He's making $8.3. You know, Johnny Hecker's due to make $4.3. They're not going to be able to afford the best punter. Johnny Hecker, he makes $3.75 next year.
Good for him. Well worth it, by the way.
Well worth it. No, he's tremendous.
All right, let's go to that Seahawks Cards game that we talked about that's getting flexed to Sunday night. Does this change anyone's bet thoughts? Because Russell is 14-2 in prime time, and now it's a prime time game now.
Yeah, Kyler just came off an ass beating on prime time. That's what I like the Cardinals plus 3.5. Am I wrong, Lombardi?
You know, it's funny you said that. So a buddy of mine sent me what he liked this week, and he said Cardinals 3.5, and I said to myself, "You're crazy." Then I read my numbers.
Yes.
And the Cardinals are the fifth best team in the NFL based on the numbers.
Let's go, dude.
And actually, the Cardinals should be favored in the game.
Russell loves it in Arizona.
I am also taking the Cardinals, and I wrote this down today. 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two has been 3 points or less, and one of those, the 6 of the 8, so the 2 of those that weren't 3 points or less was a blowout by the Cardinals. So
the road team is 9-1-1 against the spread the last 11 in this matchup.
Oh, that's not good for us. I mean, why are you going to do that?
Terrible.
I'm staying away from it. My numbers they take Arizona. I can't. I'm not going against Russell Wilson. I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry. I can't.
Are we starting to worry about Jamal Adams, Mike? It's been 3 weeks now, and he's still not practicing.
Who, Jamal? Yeah, I mean, that's got to be an issue. Now, they got Kendricks back. I think Kendricks will help them a little bit. I don't think the rookie was ready to play right now. So, but, you know, I mean, look, I didn't think Arizona was a great team. And then when I looked at the numbers and I had to run them twice, I was like, where did this come from?
I feel like, I don't know if their defense is playing great, but I think their defense is better than I thought they would be this year.
Yeah, so what I did was this week, because that happened, I put the strength of schedule in. And the Cardinals have the 29th schedule in there. So they have a really easy schedule. So I put that in my power ranking, but it still didn't deter the number.
Oh, no, but is your power ranking 100% accurate with the strength of schedule thing?
Of course it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's Lombardi line. It's
Lombardi line. On the road,
I mean, so this week, it's funny, though, Pat. This week, I mean, the lines are every line is right close to the betting line.
Oh, yeah.
The lines that I'm not close on are the blowout lines. Like I have the Chief Denver game at 10.3. I think the line opened at 9.5. Mm-hmm. I had the Buffalo Jet game at 9. It's at 11. See, I don't think I can handicap really well the bad teams because there's only so far they can go down.
What do you think about that Chargers-Jaguars game, Mike?
It's only so far.
You know, I mean, I have it as a 6-point game. It's an 8-point game. I love the Chargers in the game.
So do I, yeah.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
I love the Chargers. I love them. I mean, if you told me I had to pick 3 teams today, I'd say Chargers, Pittsburgh, Green Bay.
We were talking about this morning, like the Jags won that first game, and it made everyone think that before the season they were supposed to be the Jets. Like they were supposed to be the worst team in the NFL. We were talking keep going against them until Vegas maybe adjusts to what the Jags have become now. And if Vegas's lines are close to your lines, I mean, Vegas is starting to really dial it in then.
Yeah, and also
I think so. And I think if you go back, I went back and watched the Detroit-Jacksonville game again. I watched it twice, and Jacksonville really never was in that game. Gardner Minshew is not playing very well right now. And their offensive line really struggled to block Detroit. I know that sounds ridiculous, but Detroit got pressure on Minshew.
That Lions-Atlanta game should be a stay away, but man, if Julio's playing, I might bite.
Julio's trying to get out, right? That's what I don't know. Julio just had a massive game last week. Maybe it's because he loves Atlanta and the Falcons so much, or maybe he's like, all right, get me the hell out of here.
But there's a lot of line movement to Detroit in that game.
Yeah, I seen that.
All right.
Fuck that guy.
All right. It's time. We talk about tonight, but before we talk about tonight, every Thursday now, I have invested the power within me to reward the best record for the week before.
Okay.
The inaugural ceremonial,
Bank ring.
beautiful,
That thing's nice.
diamond encrusted, 24 karat gold
Hey, it's gorgeous.
pinky ring. And you carry that honor for 1 week, unless you are also the best record for that next week. Mm-hmm. And it's an honor that should be taken seriously.
Amen.
Amen. And this week,
Amen.
Amen.
I believe Pat went 4-1.
Bingo.
Well, you throw up the total records. He went 4-1, I believe, to take his record to 23 or 20. 24-11 for Pat. Mr. Lombardi got back above 500, 10-9. I'm 19-13. Gumpy is 20-17. But for week 7, Pat will be wearing the ring that was forged in fire with his Thor hammer. That is quite hot.
Yeah.
I present you the ring.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Don't you clapping, guys? Thank you.
Michael, I asked you for your address this morning because
Are you kidding me with this thing?
We will be sending you a ring just, when you win a week, so you have it at your house to wear it.
Oh, thank you. Is that the same ring that Kim got stolen in Paris? Is that the same one?
You learned a lot about Kim last night, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I did.
Before we get into tonight's game, Gumpy's nukes. Gumpy, what are the nukes for tonight's game?
Giants 0-4 against the spread last 4 Thursday games.
Wow.
This thing's awesome. This ring is a very nice ring. You did a great job,
Thank
Diggs.
you.
I can't
Thank
wait
you.
for you to wear it. You're gonna look awesome
Thank
with it.
Giants 0-7 straight up last 7 in Philly.
Jesus.
Carson Wentz 4-0 straight up and against the spread on Thursday. Eagles 9-1 straight up last 10 versus the Giants. And this is the one that I think you're gonna like, Tony.
Okay.
Danny Dimes in prime time. 0-3 against the spread.
Oh, no. All right, Michael. With all that being said, what do you think about tonight?
I think it's going to be a hard game for the Giants because their fronts. I think Danny Dimes will struggle. The Eagle front is the strength of their team. It is the only strength of their team. They get Lance Johnson back at right tackle. They get Matt Fryer back at right guard. They need him. They may have Deshaun Jackson back. They need him to go with Fulcom. I like Philly tonight. I mean, my numbers say take the Giants, but I think Philly's going to play better tonight. They're getting some guys back. I think they're getting healthy. The Giants can't score points. I think the Giants have a hard time scoring points.
Boston Scott in 2 games last year against the Giants, 220 yards from scrimmage and 4 touchdowns.
I would like people to know while listening here, and that's a big stat there by Gumpy, big nuke there. Michael Lombardi does live in Eagle country.
He does.
Okay, and he is very invested in the Eagles. And maybe since the power rankings say go for the Giants and he goes for the Eagles, maybe he's letting his feelings get involved in his picks at this particular time.
I just have I have a hard time betting the Giants. I mean, they've played better football than the Eagles. There's no denying it. There's no denying it. Visually, there's no denying it. But to me, Thursday nights are always kind of quirky. I don't know how Wentz is standing up after the beating he took by Baltimore. I really don't. It's a feel I have. And they're getting a couple players back. I mean,
I like the feel.
I wouldn't recommend. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just going with the gut.
No, you are right. You say it, you're right. You're 100% right until you're wrong. But I just happen to think that I'm right in saying I got the Giants. Plus 4.5. Yeah, I got the Giants tonight. I'm on them. Plus 4.5. I also like the Carson Wentz under passing yard thing that Darius Butler talked about, 243.5 yards. I think that's but boy, hearing your power rankings say they like the Giants made me feel a lot better after listening to the reasonings that you had for the Eagles, because I feel like you know the Eagles much better than I do. But with that being said, Joe Judge hopped on a fumble in training camp in the mud, and the boys cheered for him. This is a big night for old Danny Dimes, who rushed for 74 yards last week. He's going to get loose. They better have a spy on that guy. Also, plus 400 bet Danny Dimes for a rushing touchdown.
Michael, you are on the public side, by the way. 63% of the bets, 76% of the money. Gumpy, what do you got for tonight?
Just like Mike said, he had a feeling. We got all the stats, everything we need. But there's one major reason I'm taking this pick. The Eagles watched the Cowboys lay an absolute fucking egg on Monday night, and the NFC East is wide open. Give me the Eagles minus 4.5.
The Giants said the same thing. What is this guy even talking about?
Apparently the Giants didn't. Apparently the Giants didn't watch the game, dude.
Oh my God, watch the games, Giants.
All right, everyone knows where I'm going tonight.
I like the feeling that you have, by the way. Where are you going?
You like the under tonight, don't you?
The Giants are 30th in yards per play.
Oh, geez.
The Philadelphia D is number 8. The Philadelphia offense is number 26 in yards per play. The Giants D is number 12. Both O-lines are number 24 and number 31 in protecting their quarterbacks, with the opposing D-lines being much better. They are number 32 and number 28 as far as offensive DVOA. Both these defenses are in the teens.
Oh, jeez.
I feel like I had another stat towards that tonight, but I don't even know if I need to say it. I do like the under 45 points tonight, Michael. You did know where I was going.
Good for you. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing why I like this is I think Jason Garrett has struggled when he was in Dallas to move the ball against Philly's defense.
It's true.
That's a little nugget.
And I think that's probably why I lean that way more. I lean towards Philly against my numbers, because I just don't see him being able to outcoach Schwartz in terms of being able to really get production out of what he has to do offensively.
I mean, that Giants offense is abysmal.
So you'll watch that game? You'll watch that game tonight? Yeah, and you'll see an incompletion, and you'll be like, yeah.
I'll clap,
It's a wild drive. I did it on Monday. I couldn't fucking.
Listen,
How is that? That's what you do. Like, incompletion, fucking right. Shank way to go.
When you're an under better, I don't really like 3 and outs. I want them to get the ball to 20, drive to the 50, punt the ball, pin them deep, same thing back. If they get into field goal range or whatever, the best case scenario is you get down inside the 10 and then a turnover. That's always a fun
Or going for it on fourth.
That isn't football. That is not football.
The under is 8-2 the last 10 Philly home games as well, Tony.
Hey, what was the unders last week? Pretty good, huh?
Unders were 10-4 last week.
All right. So to recap,
They both hit on Monday night.
All right.
12-4.
Hey,
it's got some nukes. Let's go.
All right, so Garrett has in the last the last 6 games, the Cowboys against the Eagles scored 117 points, and every time the Cowboys did score points, they did it in Dallas, never on the road. They've scored 9, 6, and 9 on the road.
Oh, you love to see it.
So it's not the spirit of
classic. This is going to be a classic, not anymore the Titans, but a classic Thursday night Jags-Titans matchup.
The Mega Bowl.
I love it. NFC East, I love it. You know, it's the best thing. It's like, Parcells had one of the greatest lines of all time. He said, when he left Dallas, he said, in 10 years, they probably won't even remember I was here. And he's right. After he's been gone, nobody even remembers he coached the team. It's a classic NFC East matchup.
That's right. It's 1,000.
So has NFC East always just been a laughing story? What are you?
I mean, when I was growing up, Pat, it was great. I mean, there were, you had Landry. Dallas was never this bad. People don't realize Dallas hasn't been to a conference championship game since 1995.
Oh, yeah.
They've only been to the playoffs in 10 times in the last 25 years.
Yeah, it's when the Mafia got to Neil O'Donnell and told him to throw a couple pick sixes in that Super Bowl. That was the last time Dallas did it.
Fucking remember that, pal.
Piece of shit.
Son of a bitch. Those passes were way too missed.
You remember it, Michael. You remember it.
Yeah, you probably watched it.
I mean, I was competing against them. I was competing against Neil O'Donnell. That was a hard one for me.
All right, Michael's got Philly -4.5. I have the under 45. Pat's got the Giants +4.5, and Carson Wentz and Danny Dimes rushing total and touchdown. And
That's a lot of bets.
Gumpy's got the Eagles -4.5. Michael, thank you so much. We will see
do it
you
tomorrow. I'll be here.
Hey, Mike.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, we
Have a great
appreciate
night.
you. See
Bye-bye.
Yep.
We appreciate him. We appreciate everyone for watching and spreading the word to everyone. I mean, why wouldn't you? Pat's about as hot as they fucking get.
Bro, zoom in on that
So
thing.
I can't believe
He doesn't know how to
Mitt has no idea how to zoom in.
Oh, he does. He does. He is doing it.
Oh, shaky.
Get over here, Mitt.
That's a good pinky ring, my friend.
I mean, that is. Hey, this is what happens whenever a hammer is hot as hell.
It's a good pinky ring.
It
I
is.
can't believe they went against you.
Who's that? These two?
Yeah.
I know. I'm kind of worried
Especially your
about it.
table mate, dude.
Well, he said it was. He had all this.
Well, he had all the
I
nukes.
was
He
on
can't
that
go
yesterday.
against
We
his.
talked about that yesterday.
He can't go against his launch codes.
I woke up feeling a certain way with those IR. Yesterday, I think I was on the Eagles because of the 4-0 thing. And then the IR thing, I was like, I like the Giants
Yeah.
early this season. It's time for
You
me to.
have loved the Giants.
It's time for me to get back on that
They've been
train.
kind to you.
No,
They've
if
been
Gumpy
kind
goes
to
against
you.
his launch codes, his cabinet will impeach him and kick him out. So he had to take the Eagles.
Yeah, that's true. He won against his fucking power rankings.
Yeah, he did. And when he does that, he doesn't normally do well.
I know, and he'll say tomorrow, I should just stuck with my.
He should have 1,000%. All right, see you tomorrow. All the picks for all the games, all the info, more breaking news. Hammer
Dahn.